Oh, guys, let's move on, right? To live.
Yeah.
Done.
Hi, everyone.
Start, please.
Hello.
Hello, we
Are we
seem to
live
be live,
now?
guys. Let's
Okay.
move on, right?
Okay, welcome everyone watching us today. My name is Denali, and I will be the host of today's live session. Can you hear me?
Sounds
Everybody can hear you clearly.
Yeah, you sound great to me, Denali.
Mm-hmm. I think Denali has some connection delay.
There is a delay?
Yeah, maybe a small delay on your side.
Okay, is it all good now?
Yes. We can start. Important is that you don't switch, you don't look on YouTube yourself, because then you have this delay. Just let's use this tool and that's it.
Yeah, we're doing this a bit like CNN, right? When they have the correspondents in the field and you have to wait for the back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everyone. My name is Denali, and I will be the host of today's live session in Scaleswap's channel. I'm the new member of Scaleswap team, and so today we have with us the co-founder and CTO of Scaleswap, Stan. So Scaleswap, as we all know, is the first and the most powerful IDO launchpad in the market today, right? And our special guest for this live session is Marc. Hello, Marc.
Hi.
Marc is joining us today from UK. So as we all know, I hope you have looked into ORE. And ORE Open Rights Exchange is built by Open Rights Foundation. It's designed to enable billions of people around the world to use blockchain applications for the first time within the next 5 years. Users will easily be able to control their identity, assets, and rights across various on-chain and off-chain applications. So with a single universal account, and that's just amazing. I find it really fascinating that with a single universal account, users will be able to control their identity and assets. So Marc, thank you so much for joining us today. Please give us an introduction to yourself, your background, and what actually motivated you to get yourself into blockchain and crypto.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks for having me. First of all, really appreciate everything Scaleswap does, and we're so excited to be here. My background, I'm sort of a typical Silicon Valley tech guy. I've been involved in 5 different startups before working in the blockchain industry. And I've seen all the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I've had everything from like very large exits to total failure and everything in between. So very much been in the tech industry since 2006. So 15 years now. And I have to say, I've never done anything as exciting as what's going on in blockchain right now. I love working in the industry because it's this combination of technology, economics, and politics, right? It's a whole political, legal system built into an economic system, built into a technology platform. And I think it has tremendous opportunities to change the world. And, you know, that's my motivation for being in the blockchain industry, is to kind of help make that dream a reality.
Marc, thank you for being here with Scaleswap. And I have a question. So you have on your background AIKON and ORE. What's the connection between these two logos?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the Open Rights Exchange is a public blockchain. It's run by a group of node operators, which we call block producers, that are spread all over the world, right? So that's decentralized, open source, anyone can use it. And it's run by the Open Rights Foundation, which is nonprofit, right? So that is, or like many blockchain projects, is like totally decentralized, totally open source, and you know, open to anyone. ICON is a company that I actually am CEO of ICON, and we build products on top of the ORE blockchain. So everything ICON does uses ORE, and we though are for profit, right? So ICON, has products like ORE ID, which is single sign-on for multiple blockchains, ORE Vault, which is our multi-sig product that works across for like corporate treasuries. And so the two, obviously, we work very closely, but they're each have their own role to play in the ecosystem. We modeled it after what you see with Ethereum Foundation and Consensus, right? There's certain products you need a company like Consensus to build that's private and they're hoping to make money. And there's certain things that the foundation does, like give out grants and open source software and things like that.
Great.
Great. Wow, it's absolutely wonderful knowing your journey and getting yourself into cryptocurrency and blockchain, and also involving yourself in like multiple startups and facing all kinds of challenges. Like I've read a lot about yourself online, and I would like to know how your other startups went on and what really brought you to blockchain and your entrepreneurial journey as a whole.
Sure. Yeah, well, so I actually majored in politics in university, and then graduated and worked on political campaigns for a while. And yeah, it was super exciting, but I found it actually kind of soul destroying because it was so competitive. There was so much kind of politicians stabbing each other in the back and things like that. And I was in San Francisco at the time and loved tech. And so I moved after a few years in politics to the first tech startup I ever worked for, which is called Mobile Play. Through a sort of, I like to call it a Forrest Gump-esque series of events, I went from marketing manager to president of the company over 2 years and had a small exit. What we were building at the time was a mobile-first social network. From there, I went to a company called Context Optional, where I was sort of like the number 3 in command at CO, and we were doing social media management software for large enterprises. So we helped Microsoft manage their Facebook page, or tools for Disney on Twitter and Facebook, Chase Bank, right? These really big companies that at that time were trying to adapt to this totally new world of social media, right? It was a very big change in the internet. They didn't know what to do. They needed tools, they needed advice, they needed partners. And I think what we're seeing with blockchain today is similar. So the way we built our products at ICON, the way ORE is built, is to connect kind of Web 2.0 identities to Web 3.0. And so it's the same type of thing where you have these companies that see this change in the internet, this change in the way business is being done. They want to adopt blockchain, and they need tools that make it possible. And in particular, they need to do it in a way that's friendly for their customers. And so a lot of the journey of what brought me to this kind of concept, along with my co-founders, was this idea that, hey, we need tools that will make blockchain really practical and usable for normal businesses and normal consumers. And that's how we're going to spread mass adoption. Mm-hmm. And so that's how it kind of ties back into that history. And yeah, I should say the first person who really got me into blockchain was my co-founder, Stefan. And so I had met him after the biggest exit I was involved in was a company called Efficient Frontier. It was algorithmic bid optimization for search, sold to Adobe for $400 million. And I was one of the executives and became part of the strategy team at Adobe, which is still a great company. And I love the people there. They're just full of very brilliant people. And I was attending attending a tech conference called Snowball, and met Stefan Rover, we became very close friends. He was an early encryption pioneer in Web 1.0. Okay. So he was a German guy. When SSL encryption came out, the US had strict export restrictions. It was considered a military grade encryption. And so you couldn't sell it to anyone anywhere else in the world. Only the Americans were going to have encryption. And so Stefan, being German, was like, that's not fair. So he rebuilt SSL in Germany, the company called Brocat, and they sold encryption software to banks all over the world. They had 2,000 banks all over the world. And he was that true like techno libertarian blockchain guy, right? He's like, people should have privacy, people should have encryption. And he was always talking to me about it. And he's the one who really drew me into that world, right? And so it's kind of this mix of Trey, who's the CTO. I was kind of the like practical enterprise software guy, and Stefan, who's like the blockchain true believer, encryption pioneer. And that's how we kind of came up with this mixture of how can we make it truly blockchain and support public blockchains. We believe in Ethereum, we believe in Polygon, we believe in EOS, we believe in these chains. How do we make them successful in a way that's like really practical for average normal businesses? And so that's kind of what drew me in and brought the kind of team together 4 years ago. We've been at this open rights exchange thing for 4 years now.
4 years, yeah. I've looked at your roadmap, and it's just, like I can see how the developments have been taking place over the years, and your entrepreneur journey is absolutely impressive, and how you were involved in all of these startups, building all this experience and facing these different challenges along the way. And I'm sure like it all built up into a positive experience and adding up to build this open rights exchange. And with this impressive and early vision, it is so interesting how you identify this need for that one solution that would connect the mass market and like general businesses connecting to these different chains and bringing all of these ideas together and creating a team of like-minded people, so scalable and working approach across different blockchains. And I think it's absolutely amazing and it's so cool. So maybe you can start our conversation and go a bit more detail about Open Rights Exchange by really highlighting your main mission and goals behind this big foundation and the project.
Yeah, happy to. The mission, I think, as we always say, it's about spreading mass adoption. And our approach that makes it a little bit different, because I think there's a lot of companies that talk about that. The approach we have that makes it different is we have these tools that allow applications to add public blockchain wallets into an existing app. So instead of asking a user to maybe leave your game and go get a MetaMask wallet if you're going to give them an NFT, or leave your, we have an equity crowdfunding platform that's one of our customers, right? And so since they want to do tokenized equity, they didn't want to send people out of the app to go get a wallet and come back, right? They already have the users signed in. They want to just give them a wallet within that same application. And so that's really what's very unique about our approach and how we think will have the biggest impact on growing the blockchain ecosystem, right? Because there are already billions of users on the internet. They're already using many different applications every day. And so we think the best way to grow the industry is to plug into what people are already doing and then take the time to teach them about blockchain once they've started using it, instead of trying to get them excited first and then get them to try something, right? It's like, okay, here's a game, with ORE and ORE ID, people can log in with social logins, right? So like when we're talking about these NFT games, people are logging into an app on their iPhone or their Android phone with a Google login, an Apple ID, stuff they use every day. But now all of a sudden they have a wallet on, maybe one of our partners, Liquid, they're doing wallets on Wax, right? Or maybe another game is going to do a wallet on Ethereum, right? For the user, it's totally seamless. They hit login with Google, they pick a second factor password to give them a little extra security, and then bam, they've got a wallet, and they never had to like leave the game experience they were playing or other applications as well.
So Mark, one question from my side. So ORE is EVM blockchain, right? Ethereum compatible blockchain. So basically it's like Ethereum.
Actually, no. So what we did with ORE, I'm glad you asked though, because obviously we plug into a lot of Ethereum compatible chains, right? Like we're on Ethereum already, and we've got Polygon coming soon. So we're super excited about that. But the way we work, so ORE itself is what we call like a layer 1.5 chain. You cannot put a DApp on ORE. You can't put a decentralized exchange on ORE. All we hold are identities. And that way it's very fast and cheap to use, but the decentralized applications still have to live on the layer 1 blockchains. So you can't do, like most of what you could do with the EVM, you could not do on ORE, but that's on purpose because we want those apps to be on Polygon or to be on Ethereum, and we're just holding the identities on ORE.
So it's created by purpose, and the purpose is to hold the identity only, no other things. And I love the concept because I know how difficult it is to have this big infrastructure for smart contracts blockchains, right? And your blockchain is a simple one, but it's enough for to serve this purpose to have the decentralized ID. Can you, in this sense, tell us what's the main difference to Civic, for example?
Yeah, so
because I think it's one of questions come up.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think a lot of approaches that have been taken in the past with decentralized ID, like Civic, but others, is the creation of a new form of identity is their goal. And our approach is really about bridging existing forms of identity, right? So we're going to take your Google login and put you on Polygon, right? So it's very different to me than this idea of we are going to create a new form of identity that's not owned by centralized companies, right? And that users can get excited about because of the kind of morality of it. Now, in my heart, I want Sovereign, I want Civic to succeed. And when they get a lot of users, we will plug into them with ORE, right? We want all these blockchain projects to succeed and we want to integrate them. But we feel the best way to make this whole industry grow today is to connect the existing forms of ID, not try to rebuild from scratch a new form of ID. And that's how we really like to differentiate ourselves. And, not everyone agrees with that, right? There's some true believers who don't like the idea of offering people Google login or Facebook login or Apple login because they're centralized companies. And so what we've done to try and protect against that is we allow users, even if you logged in with Google at first, there are ways you could take out your private keys or replace Google with a different form of login later. And so the architecture is built to let you, maybe if you become more crypto savvy over time, you can kind of take more control and you can maybe get rid of Google someday. But we think 99.9% of people don't want to do that. Like most people actually want Google login. It's easy, it's convenient, and we'd rather have them on the blockchain than not.
I understand that the main idea is kind to go mainstream, right? And if you go mainstream, we cannot avoid Google, we cannot avoid other single sign-on solutions, not possible. And I totally support this. It's more than a slow revolution than a big bang, right? So first we take over the like this, and then slowly we transfer everything to real decentralization. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly the way we're looking at it. And that's why it's so important to us, right? So you could imagine building this service without the ORE blockchain, right? You could just say, okay, we're just going to support Ethereum or whatever. And we're just going to let you log in with, there's apps that do this, right? You can log in with Google and you get an Ethereum wallet. But the problem with those is they're centralized services at their core, right? So it's convenient, it gives the convenience that we give, but it doesn't have the same path you're talking about to actually give people a decentralized ID that they own, that no company owns. And the reason at ICON, we built everything on ORE is we don't want ICON to be a monopoly player in the future, right? We want it to be, if ICON disappears, then we want people to be able to use ORE directly, and all these block producers are running the chain and they can, it will work without us. And that's, we think, a key part of that like true blockchain vision.
Great.
Definitely.
I got inspired.
Yeah, definitely. It's very inspiring. And I also, especially, I like the way you approach the users and that approach that you have in order to get that mass market, that the majority of the users to get into or platform. Like if you find a way to develop something that majority of the people use, so that they would need us in order to use that particular thing. And I think that could be the best way to get most people into the blockchain in future, like because most of the people they find it difficult to understand the terms and also like getting to know the apps and the way to use these apps. And the fact that ORE is there to solve this issue, it is really fantastic, and bringing new users into blockchain. And I know that there are apps like MetaMask that have made it easier for the users, but still it is required to learn the way to use that, and at least a general idea of blockchain and how blockchain works. So I think the approach that you have in order to get the majority of the users to use ORE as a platform, that is very impressive. You have a clear strategy of how you're going to do it. I would also like to ask, who are your intended users for ORE, and who are the stakeholders in the project at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. So we're very proud that a lot of our stakeholders are actually applications that are building on top of ORE, right? So a lot of the tokens that were sold in the pre-sale went to real utility users of the system, which is, of course, the most important thing, right? We're in this, it's a utility token. The whole point is that it's really getting used.
That's
so
right.
we have applications. Like one of my favorites, it's not that famous yet, but I think it will be someday, is called Authentium. It's an Australian company, and they're doing farm to table tracking of food through the supply chain. And it includes this sort of decentralized supply chain, so farmers can contract directly with truckers to deliver like organic or fresh produce to restaurants. And they're starting with a supply chain in Australia. It's one of those things where people always talk about, oh, blockchain is so perfect for supply chain, because it is, but there's a lot of usability issues, right? If you're asking truckers and farmers and people like that to use the system, they're not crypto people. They don't want to manage private keys, right? And so they're doing it all with NFTs that are managed through QR codes on the app. And so you just, you scan the produce, and then you load it on the truck, and then you scan the produce when it's delivered, and it's all being tracked on chain. In that case, that's being tracked on the Algorand blockchain. So stuff like that is a perfect use case for us, because it's a business use case. It's got big scale. It actually helps the world be a better place, and it needs to be easy to use, right?
That's fine.
We've also we're working with Red Fox on one of their games, Red Fox Labs. So they're doing this COG Slam game. Right now it's in test flight, so I've tested it, but the public can't use it yet, but it's coming soon.
Okay.
It's just a fun game where you can you smash these cogs, which are these game pieces, and you earn NFTs, and you get better pieces the more you play. And again, it's a fun thing, but the whole idea is to have this play to earn piece of it where, for younger people or people in different countries, that can actually be a really important source of income for them. But we need it to be easy to use.
But so you have many projects now working with ORE, right? So what is not really obvious, for example, from your side, right? Because if you are visiting ORE, it's not really obvious that there is many in the background, many things.
That's a great point. And so I hope people follow us on Twitter or Telegram, and we do a lot of features with blog posts and discussions with the partners that are building on ORE, and we'll be featuring them as we go forward. And some of them, right, like Authentium, it's a little farther from launch, so we'll be talking about that more down the road. But then other folks, right, like Republic is one of our close partners. We talk about them a lot more publicly because that's very close to launch. And yeah, there's a lot of companies we're working with already, and we just want to make sure that the community understands where we're headed with all this, and that people also have a chance. And one of the reasons we're doing this IDO is so that people have a chance to get the tokens themselves, and they can build directly on the ORE blockchain if they want, or they could use ORE ID if they want. We have open source libraries called Chain.js, which is our open source JavaScript framework. So if anyone listening is a JavaScript developer and maybe you don't know Solidity or maybe you don't know C++, you can use Chain.js to do things on any of the blockchains we support. And so, yeah, always open. By the way, any developers who want to talk to us, we're always open for those kind of chats as well.
That's great. We can help you here as developers if you need some.
Yeah, Stan is a very good developer. He's
not really. I'm just working with them. I'm an architect, not a developer, but it's something different. Speaking about use cases, one question I have in mind, and I believe it's very logical that you should implement or you should work with KYC companies together, because this is very big use case, I believe. If you can implement ORE as KYC to go network, then could be something big. Have you thought about this?
Yeah, we are working with one of our closest partners, Alliance Block, on something in the KYC space. So announcements to come soon. But yeah, and by the way, for anyone who doesn't know Alliance Block, wonderful project, and someone we've been working with for many months, and really excited about what they're doing.
Gotcha.
And again, for us, much like you heard me talk about with identities, look, we want to integrate with multiple KYC providers, and so that businesses have the options, right? And so we're working on some things now, and hopefully more and more in the future. Yeah,
I understand. I see one question from I believe our chat is about the vesting and tokenomics on your website. Users are asking why it's not so much details. Do you think it will be published after, or?
To be honest, this is a really lame excuse. So I'm sorry for the members of the public. I have it on my calendar to turn the spreadsheet into like a nice looking document that people can read. It just hasn't happened yet. But yeah, absolutely. Everything's managed on chain. So people are going to be able to see it all on the Block Explorer, but that's not very convenient. So we will be releasing like graphics that that show that, and happy to send it out in Telegram, and we can share it as soon as it's done. So sorry about that. And that's it.
We totally understand. I mean, everybody of us entrepreneurs has tons of tasks, and
I know there's like 1,000 moving pieces all the time, and our designers are working on everything from product to social graphics to explainer videos, and so they have a whole list of tasks to do. And but yeah, absolutely, we want to be fully transparent with all that, and we will share information with the community as soon as we have a nice looking document to send out.
Very, very good. Nice to hear that.
Great. So as you said, like ORE as a platform make it extremely easy for users to access blockchain. So I would like to know how ORE token fit into the Open Rights Exchange ecosystem, and what are some of its functionalities?
Oh yeah, a great question. So it's a very straightforward utility token by design, right? So today, if you want to create, let's say you're a business, like any one of the businesses I mentioned, and you want to create one user account, it takes 10 ORE tokens to create the one user account. Now that's going to go down over time. So it'll take fewer and fewer tokens over time to create accounts. But if you want to create 1,000 accounts, you need 1,000 times as many tokens. And if you want to create 1 million accounts, you need 1 million times as many tokens. And so the whole vision is just this very straightforward utility token that kind of prevents spam on the network, right? So if a business wants to create 1 million accounts, they have to get enough tokens to do that. And so that helps just align the incentives between the businesses that are doing like real use cases, so they're willing to use tokens to do it, and the block producers who then receive payments in ORE tokens to keep the chain running.
Okay, so it's kind of this spam prevention, right? For as you told.
Yeah, and of course, just that whole like economic alignment with the nodes and the identities and the businesses creating the accounts.
And by the way, is something like staking planned for ORE token later?
Yeah, we'll have hopefully a lot of announcements coming out down the road, but we really want to be very friendly to the community, and we want to make sure there's lots of utility for developers as well as utility for just kind of normal non-developer users like myself.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, impressive. And yeah, we have so many questions from our communities as well, like our internal communities. And yeah, like it's an amazing opportunity for our community to ask any question they have from Marc directly by shooting us any question you have. And yeah, like we try our best to like ask as many questions as we possibly can within the next few minutes left on our live session. So would you like to tell us just one question that we are getting from our community as well? Like, would you like to tell us a little bit more about the team behind OpenRise Exchange?
Yeah, great question. Sorry, I didn't bring it up before. So we have a team that's spread all over the world. We don't have any offices, right? It's fully remote. So the engineers are everywhere, right? Like Trey, who's the ICON CTO and the chief architect for ORE, sort of the Stan of ORE, if you will. So like Trey is in California, he's in Silicon Valley. We've got engineers in Wyoming, Brazil. We got people in the Netherlands, India. We've got people in Mexico. We've got all over America. And so you can see the team on the website. I think there's 17 people now. And yeah, they're just wherever we find good talent and people that are excited about working on ORE, we're excited to work with them. Obviously, you can probably hear my American accent, but I am in London right now, and it is, it's very much a global team, and we're really proud of what we've accomplished so far. We've been at it, as I said, since 2017, but the team's been growing a lot recently. We got a lot more people than we used to, and yeah, we've been through, we went through like the crypto winter in like 2018, 2019, and now the hot bull run again. And, we just really want to make sure we're operating the foundation and the business and the ICON business for the long run to really make sure we're delivering great products year after year after year. And that's our whole goal.
And speaking about these products year after year, so maybe you can tell to us about your technical roadmap. So what kind of next features, next products are planned?
Yeah, so I guess there's 3 kind of big categories we're working on right now. So one is adding more blockchains. You've heard me mention like we're gonna do Polygon, we're gonna do BSC, Cardano, Solana. Like we've got a whole roadmap of adding more blockchains to the cross-chain identity. And that's done with our open source Chain.js framework. So all that work is open source and it's kind of given to the community, but we also use it ourselves. So that's a huge part of what we do. And we are not maximalists on any one blockchain. We believe there will be, even 10, 20 years from now, many different important blockchains. And so we want to support them. So that's a big chunk. the other thing is we've got a whole roadmap of NFT features that we're going to be rolling out at the user interface level. So right now, the back end manages NFTs perfectly well. You could, create wallets, give people NFTs, transfer them, whatever. But the front end functionality that we offer doesn't do like a great job displaying that. So we're adding a lot of NFT features. And then also we're trying to plug into more DeFi protocols and standards. And so again, like the infrastructure already works with DeFi, right? We have customers that are doing tokenized gold, decentralized capital markets, tokenized securities, like all this kind of DeFi stuff you can do with ORID, but we're trying to build more front end around that. So you don't need to like build the integration using the backend tools. You could just like pop open the user interface and do something. So that's kind of the other big next step.
So you're kind in transition phase, right? Where you have these tools only for developers, only for technical guys, and then you make the transition to mainstream, to let's call this traditional normal people without big technical skills. Great.
Sure. Yeah. So it all sounds absolutely amazing, and I'm super, super excited for your launch. And I must say that you have a great passion and a great, like, really impressive energy and passion for blockchain and really supporting the community as a whole. So from everything you told us, from your big vision and how you got started, and all of this makes us really excited for your launch coming up. And I'm sure our communities are just as excited as we are for your launch and this big vision you have. It's really inspiring, and you're inspiring everyone around and also the communities as well. So I also have a question for Stan. So because Scaleswap is known for a very selective approach for startups that are accepted for the IDOs, what would you, Stan, tell us, like, what do you find so special about Open Rights Exchange?
Very good question, Dinali. It's a bit surprised, but very, of course, I will answer this question. So first of all, I am long-term in blockchain crypto space, and I was very interested in the Civic project days ago, because I see that this kind of projects has the potential to build this bridge to mainstream. As I heard of ORE, I was thinking, okay, so it's something similar to Civic. I need to research more, and then I started to research. I saw that it has this USPs, like Mark explained, in comparison to Civic, and it really tries to drive this mass adoption, right? It tries to try to create to drive the business development, to onboard a lot of customers, and this was the differentiator for me. So, and by the way, I don't believe that having competitors, for example, is something bad. There are many launchpads out there, and ORE will even launch on other launchpads. I will not promote them here because we are speaking only about Scaleswap, but it's not too bad. It's nothing bad. I think it's good for the blockchain and for the whole community. There are different projects with different views on the same thing, right? And
sorry to interrupt, but one of the smartest guys I ever worked for was this guy named John Meller, who ran the kind of digital marketing strategy for Adobe. And he would always say, competitors create the market. That's the truth, right? It's like the more launch pads there are, the more people know they need launch pads, right? And then all of a sudden it actually grows the market, especially in the early phases like we are right now with blockchain. The rising tide lifts all boats rather than actually sinking the other boats, right?
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. And I would say that if you don't have any competition, it can only mean that probably something is wrong with the idea.
Yes, yeah, exactly. You're doing the wrong thing. Exactly.
Yeah. If there's no competition, yeah, that's something to think about then.
No,
Yeah.
it's really cool. Just small reminder, 12th of October, I think in 1 week, right? In 7 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or IDO on Scaleswap. Don't miss this date. So you
That's
have,
right.
you need to sign up. You need to go to the whitelist to proceed with KYC. And yeah, then you will be able to participate in the IDO.
Yeah, and Mark, just like you mentioned about other launch pads, what do you find unique about Scaleswap, and why you chose Scaleswap to launch, or you would like to
Well,
know as well, so as
yeah.
well as our community.
Sure. Well, I mean, there's a couple things, right? Obviously, the team is great. Everyone on this call, plus
Thank
Nelly
you.
and all the other folks, like it's a wonderful team. But the things that we wanted to have a launchpad that was really connected to the Polygon community, right? So Scaleswap is amazing in that regard, like best in the industry. And then and so that was probably the primary consideration. But also we really like the model with the SCA token. That idea of having kind of community engagement with community participation and the way it kind of brings people together, I thought was innovative and also really aligned with what I thought was the right thing, kind of morally and kind of ethically, with like how this industry should work with this kind of shared upside around the SCA token. So I really like the way Scaleswap treats their fans or members, whatever you call the SCA people. And then also I really
Family.
the family, yeah, the way the SCA family, and then the way you're so close with Polygon. I mean, to me, that was just a lot of great all-in-one package.
Thank you, Mark.
Hey, that's
Pleasure
really good to know. Yeah. Yeah, so I really want to remind everyone again, Stan reminded as well that you have a wonderful opportunity to join Scaleswap IDO. And we are thrilled to announce the ORE Network IDO and whitelisting campaign details, and that the IDO will take place on October 12th at 12 p.m. UTC, and whitelisting is now open. So you will have the links in the description. When we post this live session, you'll have the description of all the links of this video, and in all our channels, and also in our website as well as our website as well. And it is a great opportunity to everyone who wants to participate. And yeah, so please don't miss it. So that's yeah, we couldn't like emphasize enough.
Yeah, and keep building out there.
Yeah.
Keep building.
Definitely, yes. And also one important thing to know that we make sure to say this in every one of our videos, to be aware of scammers. The team members from Scaleswap or will not reach out to you directly, and the more valuable, like I know, like this is a very valuable project. So the more valuable the projects are, the more scammers or anyone messaging there will be. So it is like it is something that has to be kept in mind, that none of our team members will reach out to you directly, and please be aware of scammers.
Great.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah, so thank you, Mark, and I also want to thank you, Dina, for wonderful moderation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's my first time, and yeah, I'm a new member of Scaleswap team. Yeah, if you missed the beginning of the video, yeah, so I'm really happy to be with the wonderful Scaleswap team, and yeah, it's been a wonderful time, even within a very short time. Like it's a great time to be with such a wonderful team and working with amazing projects.
Great.
Bye.
Great.